So today's Project Soapway winner, this is not her first win, and the first time that I had the absolute pleasure of getting to review her footage was for obviously a different Project Soapway win, and I was absolutely captivated because she sent me a fully edited video really outlining the entire process of soap making. And because I was so impressed by her eye, her vision, what she wanted to do with that particular video, I decided to pivot for the actual talking over the footage for that video for two reasons. One, because it was amazing footage and I wanted to really talk more about the soap maker and the process of making soap. And two, because she hadn't really sent any information about herself through for me to really work off of. But she's done that today. And so we get another crack at actually talking about this Project Soapway winner while we look at her gorgeous footage and her Project Soapway winning bar. And we will do all of those things in just a minute. But before we do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for the Project Soapway Coffee Challenge winner number 3. And today's winner is Jussara Prado, and also known as the Nature Essence or Nature Essence on Instagram. Her socials are there because she has a brand new Instagram page that she is promoting and we are supporting her at today, wherein she is doing an Instagram shop and selling essential oils. And I think that's really cool. We're definitely going to be talking more about her new business, why she decided to get into it, all of the things within her footage, while we talk about her coffee soap. And it's pretty amazing. Now, this particular soap, like all other soaps within the coffee series, of course, they do incorporate the coffee in at least 3 ways. This one is 5 different ways, but she is using a number of different methods as well. So she will be doing a cold process technique for the piping of the top. She's using melt and pour for the embeds, for the decorations on top. And for the base of her soap, she is doing a high heat hot process method. Now, we've never talked about a high heat hot process method on this channel, and so today we get an opportunity to do so. So let's get to Jussara's footage and we can do all of those things while we ooh and ah over her amazing vision, her amazing eye, her amazing self, and of course her amazing soap. Okay, we are in for an absolute treat with all of this, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to say everything that I want to say about all of the stuff that's going on while we watch this very, very aesthetically pleasing pour. Her edits are absolutely gorgeous. I only cut a little teeny tiny bit of it out, and I mostly left everything else intact. And so we get to be along for this beautiful ride together and watch all of this amazingness with Jussara, and we can ooh and ah over all of her choices for her edits, which are all amazing, and they should be, because I think she's in digital marketing, if I'm remembering correctly. I mean, she teaches soap, and she does. Oh, we got it. Okay, we're gonna start with we need a structure here. So, Jussara is the winner of Project Soapway, and she is going to be showing us her coffee challenge today, her coffee soap, and this is a high heat hot process method. Now, high heat hot process method, what does that mean? That means it's a hot process method wherein the oils and the lye are both hot. And so it's similar to your heat transfer method, right? Where you have your cold oils and you use the heat of the lye solution to melt your oils, and then through that you're actually getting closer to your emulsion and all of the jazz. But in this case, both the oils and the lye solution are hot. And so she said in her footage that her oils were at 85 to 90 degrees Celsius. And I had Siri convert that to Fahrenheit because I'm pretty sure that's what we use here, right, in the United States, and that said it's 194 degrees Fahrenheit. So I must have converted something wrong or misunderstood what was being said, because that's super hot. But if that's what it is, then just that's wild. But just keep that in mind. That means hot, really, really hot. And a lot of new soap makers might have their minds blown about that, because usually with cold process, right, we are told to not soap above 120 degrees, and then our lyes and our oils need to be within 10 degrees of each other. And that's not at all what you have to do. This is a whole method of soap making with the high heat hot process that a lot of people do. Jussara does it almost exclusively. She's played around with cold process a little bit, but she finds that the high heat hot process method is actually better for her because she's more comfortable with it, because this was the way that she was taught. And so it's a very cool process that you probably don't see around a lot in YouTube videos, which really does, it's kind of a bummer. We should do more of them, actually. And I believe maybe I might have talked about it at some point. And if like it would have been with the glycerin soap videos that I dropped, because that is one of the methods that you can do to make your glycerin soap, your melt and pour base from scratch. And you're going to see essentially a version of that today. Now, the benefits of using your high heat hot process method are going to be, well, ease of, waiting really, and ease for like solid colored soaps to get everything in and done and not have any waiting around with all of it. And obviously some of the downfalls as a result of that, if you've seen making soap paste or making your hot process melt and pour batches, or any hot process in general, one of the downsides is you can't get as beautiful with your swirls and whatnot, because your batter is not going to be as fluid. Now, speaking of fluidity, she did say within her footage that she adds sodium lactate to her soap batch for the fluidity. And I remember having a conversation, I don't even know how long ago, time has no meaning, and I mentioned sodium lactate, and I said that I use it for, always loosening up my batter. And everybody would, like, all the sudsers were like, no, we use it for bar hardening. It's not for loosening up the batter. I was like, oh, that's so wild. I use it to loosen up my batter. So I just figured that I've always been doing it wrong, but magically it's been loosening up my batter. But I guess that's not the case. I guess I'm actually just pulling from something in the caverns of my mind regarding hot process, because in hot process, sodium lactate definitely does loosen up batter, but I find it does that in cold process too. So there's that. Now, do you see these? Do you see those essential oils? Those are Jussara's. So she just started a new shop. You got to go check her out on Instagram. So she has an Instagram shop going on at the Nature Essence, thing. All the links are down there. And she is manufacturing, she's selling her own essential oil line, as well as some dog shampoos and, other pet care type products. And I think you just saw a little Kaylin Clay in the tin that looked like her packaging as well. That's not her packaging, because she doesn't have all the essential oils yet. She's a new company, and she started selling. She's not selling soaps, and the reason why she's not selling soaps is because the gal that taught her how to make soap in Thailand, because this is where she lives. She lives in Thailand. When she learned how to make soap and cosmetics and everything, she was very, very interested in the process. And the gal that owns the facility wherein she does all these workshops hired her to teach kids. And then Jussara was continuing to get very into the making and all the research and everything. And so now she's teaching adults as well, several classes a week. It sounds like a very cool place. If I ever go to Bangkok, I definitely want to stop in and check out this facility, because it sounds like they are even bigger than like my workshops and stuff. So I want to see that. I don't see a lot of people actually holding soaping workshops, like, ever. And so I would love to see the facility. But this particular person taught her, like, she is essentially a soap apprentice, so she's working underneath this soap maker and learning all of these techniques and skills. And Jussara feels a little weird selling her soap and being effectively a form of competition to her employer, which is not anything her employer has told her at all. It's her own personal preference, Jussara's, that she not do this. And so instead of actually selling the soaps, which is where she was last time she won a Project Soapway Challenge, she is deciding to sell essential oils because getting really good quality ingredients in Thailand is apparently a very tricky thing to do. And so she thought she would set up all of the stuff for the essential oil lines and know where she's getting her essential oils and where everything is sourced and the purity of everything, and then have that as an option for people that exist in her area so she can, help them out on their essential oil journey. Because she only works with essential oils. She does not do fragrance oils for soaps. She does not do micas. Everything is actually colored naturally within all of this as well. And it's not because she has any particular disdain for any of it. It's just, again, these are the things that she was taught, and she likes staying within, her comfort zone. But she learns, through YouTube videos and everything, that maybe fragrance oils are safe for your skin, actually. Okay, now what you're seeing here is after she mixed everything up and got to a gel phase, as you can see, it's, your quote unquote Vaseline stage, the things that we say to help us understand what something should look like during a hot process cook. She covers it in saran wrap to keep the heat inside and really get that saponification going. And so much like with hot process, this is saponified when you are ready to start pouring. So the benefits of that are, of course, you have sped up that reaction with the lye solution and your fatty acids. And so your soap has finished saponification earlier and is safe to use earlier. That is different than when it's actually ready to use, because we do know that the soap will still need to lose water, its water weight, whether it's hot process or cold process. And so that cure time, it does depend on the recipe and, well, how much water and a whole lot of factors. We've been there before. We're not going there now. But with all of this, you're seeing that she's putting in her additives here, so her essential oils and her sodium lactate and everything to really loosen up her batter so she can then put it into her containers. She has very cute containers with all of this. Her finished soaps are kind of a mind-blowing situation because the soaps that she submitted for the Project Soapway Challenge, they are, well, they look like coffee, and they have, I think they're hexagons. We're going to see when we actually look at the molds. But in order to do the lather test, she ended up having to cut them up. And I was so pleased to learn that she had left that footage in of the cutting up of the soaps so she could do the lather test, because it's kind of hard to, get a good lather test off of, let's say 9 to 10 ounce. Look at that mold. It's going to be a big bar of soap. So it's hard to get a lather going with all of that. So it's very cool. She ended up cutting it up, and the inside of these soaps, also beautiful. Very much looking forward to that. But she did say in Discord or in one of the comments sections for one of the other Project Soapway winners that she finally understood what I was talking about when I was mentioning soaps that were too pretty to use, and why people tend to say that to us, because she had quite the time trying to figure out how she was going to take this masterpiece that she had just created and actually use it to see the lather and all the things. And so she sort of got it at that point. And I understand too, when I make soaps that are too pretty, or I get really, really pretty soaps from you guys, I will not use them. I don't want to ruin them. And so it is the bane of soap makers for sure. Now, with all of this, she's putting some melt and pour in, and she did not make this melt and pour. She did purchase this, and she's sinking it sort of in the middle of about a third of the way from the bottom of this mold. I want you to pay attention to that for when she cuts it, because she is slicing these things open later, and I'm super excited for you guys to see it, because it is absolutely gorgeous when you can see the melt and pour in the inside, and she did a great job with all of that. And she also used melt and pour here for her toppers. Now she's going to be using a cold process recipe for her piping. She did this two ways. And I said earlier that she does not like using cold process just generally because she has better success with her hot process recipes. She decided to do a cold process for the piping because she's never piped hot process. And it didn't really go the way she planned with all of it, in that it wasn't really setting up. And she actually described the soap itself as it looked like it was ricing. So when we get to the piping stage, definitely make sure to pay attention to that and to look for that. And you guys can tell me what you think that is in the comments, and we can have a chit chat about it. But with this cold process recipe not really going the way she planned, she then went ahead and tried to do it by a high heat hot process, and she ended up with the soap, I think probably not being mixed long enough or not being allowed to sit long enough because it got kind of schloopy. I did cut that bit of her footage out because we were, kind of short on time with all of it. But in both instances, she ended up having kind of a problem. She had a hard time with the piping. And so that means that we're 3 for 3 with all the Project Soapway winners. Their soaps did not go according to plan, and they still ended up with absolutely stunning soaps. So I love to see that so much. Now, while she's piping, again, look for the consistency and the texture of the actual soap that's coming out of the piping bag, and we can have a conversation about what I think that is and what you guys might think it is in the comments. I think it's kind of fun to get Sudzer input for this particular one, and she did ask for my input, but I'm going to give it in the comments and we can, talk. So while we're watching this, I did want to talk about her as a human because she is fascinating. She sent me through an hour's worth of footage where she is just chit-chatting and holding her tiny microphone and talking to the camera and telling me about her and how she came to be in Thailand, because she is Brazilian and she's living in Bangkok now with her husband, and she is doing, I'm pretty sure she does the digital media and everything. You should go check out her Instagram page. Just go look at the thing where her and her husband are sitting on a cruise ship, and like there's a big zoom out from, because it looks like they're just sitting on a balcony, and then it zooms out and she's on a cruise ship. It's amazing. Go check that out. She did that. It explains why she's so good at all of this. But yes, this is what I'm referring to here. What do we think this is going on there? Let's talk about it in the comments, because I can be present with you for that. But anyway, so she is Brazilian. She is now in Thailand, and she told me the most fascinating stories about her life. I wanted to just sit and keep listening to her talk, and she thought that she was talking too much. And I'm like, no, I want more. I want more, because you're from Brazil. She wanted me to make sure to tell you guys that when I said that she recently graduated, it's true, she did recently graduate, but she wanted me to let you guys know that she went on and got her degree later in life. So she's not like a 22-year-old, recently graduated college student. She is, well, she's 40. I guess I can say that because she said that. And so she got her degree recently. And I think that's been something that's been very important for her to get for her own personal gain for her entire life. So she went ahead and got it, and I think that's awesome. But her life experiences far outmatch any education that I got, like by a factor of all the factors. She taught English she taught languages when she was living in Brazil. But shortly after becoming an adult, she just kind of became a jet setter, and she was just traveling the world and living in all these different places, doing all this fun stuff for jobs. And it was just a very cool. She lived in Israel for a while, and then she worked on a cruise ship, which is a really cool job. I have a girlfriend who works on a cruise ship now, and I love her TikTok so much. She's everywhere all the time and always talking about her, her cruise experiences. So yeah, here's some of her footage from her high heat hot process recipe that she did. And obviously it's much shinier. It's definitely a better like gel going on with all of that. Looks very lovely, but then it does start to sort of fall, and I think I cut all of that out. Or maybe I don't and I left it in. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out because that should be coming up. But anyway, she worked at a language school in Brazil. She lived in Israel. She was a cruise ship. She worked on a ship. So she's seen like over 37 countries. She lived in Bahrain for a while. And then her husband got a job in Macau. And this was during COVID. And well, when they were trying to actually move. So he was there for his job, and then she had to show up later because she had dogs and customs, and it's a whole thing. Let's go check out this cut. And she had all kinds of issues with their dogs, getting their 3 dogs over there. And once they finally worked all of that out in the way that they worked it out, they Well, things happened, and that thing, it's 2020, is called COVID. And so it became kind of wild. She was there on, a temporary visa or whatever, like a visitor's visa, and she was made to leave for a few days. And because, she couldn't get her permanent visa and whatnot because she wasn't working there and all the jazz. And anyway, it was a thing. And while she was dealing with that, COVID was ramping up. And you guys remember how crazy the world was globally. Borders were closing and all these things. And she was kind of at ground zero dealing with it in a very different way. And she was essentially made to leave. She was given, at first it was 24 hours and then it was 10 days. And she was told she couldn't come back for 50 days. And that, of course, turned into a much longer process, as we knew, as COVID continued to develop. But at that time, it was you can't come back for 50 days. And so her husband is still living there because that's where he works. And she was like, where do I go? I'm not going back to Brazil. That's too expensive. I'm not going to go stay in India with my family. And so throughout this wild, just plain jet setting, country hopping thing, she went from Myanmar to ultimately ending up in Thailand for reasons. And they ended up loving it once her husband came to live with her. They ended up loving it there. And there's like, they've made this their temporary forever home. I get the feeling that they're going to move again, though. They seem like the type that loves to do all of the adventure, and I love that for them. Really enjoying all of the beauty that the world has to offer, I think is a great and wonderful thing to do if you have the sort of lifestyle that allows you to do it. So I love everything, all the stories that she was telling me about all of this was just so wild, just across the board. And I wanted to sit down and just continue to pick her brain, you know, like what is Thailand like living there as a Brazilian, as so you've expatriated. Well, I don't know if is that the right word? Does expatriate mean what I think it means? I'm not really sure. But anyway, you're living in a different country. You've lived in so many different countries. It's all fascinating, life. And I want to pick her brain more. So that 55 minutes that she gave me, it wasn't enough time. Now, these guys with the extra oil and everything going on here. Yeah, it seeped. There was something going on with this guy. And so I'm not exactly sure what was happening with that. She'll have to let us know what she thinks. But with the cutting of that to get into it, absolutely stunning. It's so beautiful inside. That's why I made it my thumbnail for this, because look at the lighting behind it. Gorgeous. Like, isn't that the prettiest thing? And then, yeah, she has to, of course, do the lather test. There are so many cool things that I could continue to say about Jussara, and I'm not going to be able to do it all in any of this because she's just such a cool person. I want to be your friend. I mean, I am your friend, but I want to sit with you IRL and just have all of the conversations about all of your experiences and all of the fun things that you've been getting up to in the last few years while you're continuing on with your cosmetics learning and your soap making and teaching others these things and your new business. Congratulations on the new business. That is absolutely amazing. That lather is incredible too. Such a beautiful, foamy, lovely lather. All of this is beautiful. The soaps, the stories, everything. I wish I could say more about Jussara. I wish we could sit here and chat the entire time. I really wish you would tell me more things because it was awesome. So when SoapMod told me that she was apologizing, that Jussara was apologizing in DMs with the SoapMods over the secondary bit of footage that she sent to me because it was long, I thought that that was the silliest thing ever because that absolutely made my day. Getting to sit with Jussara for an hour and just listen to her chit chat over her footage as well as just afterwards because she wanted to tell me more stories was so amazing. I grabbed my coffee, I turned on my computer, and I was in for an absolute treat. And it really was. It was amazing. So Jussara, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being the kind of person that you are. You are such a thoughtful, scientific, analytic person. You are so open and honest and lovely. And yeah, I'm super privileged to call you my friend. So thank you. Sudsers, you know the drill. Go support Jussara in all of her endeavors. She has a YouTube channel. She's got 2 Instagram pages. If you go to her YouTube channel, you can see her putting on makeup. It's a very old video, but you can put, a face to the name. and all the things. And if she approves and she agrees to it and it's fine, I will be actually uploading the video that she sent where she's just talking and telling amazing stories that I've been gushing over this whole time. I will upload that as an unlisted, not monetized, all the thing, and I'll give a link to all the Discord sudsers so you guys can access that just through the Discord. So she'll let me know about that, and if that's fine, I'll let you guys know if it's up. Yes. Sudsers, thank you so much for coming and supporting all of your fellow Sudsers for these challenges. It's always a very cool thing to see everyone in the chat. It's a really fun, lively experience. I love to see all the support, all of the soapy love, all of the things. And Jussara, again, thank you. Thank you for being a part of our whole community and being here with us, as well as for sharing your massive talents. So again, thank you. I'm out of here. I actually broke a whole bunch of Lego setting up today, and so I have Disney characters, and Hey-Hey's eyeball is on the floor staring up at me right now. I need to take care of that, and the kiddos and I are going to do a pancake dinner tonight, so I'm very, very excited for it. So I'm going to go. Jussara, it's your Sunday morning, so go have an awesome day. Tell us if Sunday ends up being a bad time, and then I'll just sleep in tomorrow. You know the drill, all the things. But I will see you guys all again on Monday, because we are starting our new month focus thing, our deep dives, on Monday. So I will see you guys all then for another round of soapy fun. Bye.